we ready? Okay, I'll call our October TID board meeting to order and ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. It's a matter of introductions. I'm Chris Boserman, Delaware County Engineer. I have the privilege of chairing our TID board. And to my right is our Vice Chair, Tracy Davies. To my left, Cy Keeley, our Treasurer. And to my far left, Pat Blaney, another board member. Tom Price also serves on our board and is excused this morning. He had another obligation. So also would recognize Delaware County Commissioner Jeff Benton, who's here, and thank you for your support of the TID activities and everything transportation related in our county. So with that, I will ask for any public comment, and I think under public comment we have a representative of the State Auditor's Office here, and I would offer you the podium.
We do. Thank you very much for putting me so far forward on the agenda. Appreciate that. Yes, my name is Scott Brown, and I represent Auditor Keith Faber here in Central Ohio. It's my honor to be here on behalf of the auditor to present the district with what we call the Auditor of State Award. Flip that open. It really, it's important to note about this award that it puts your organization into a very select group. Of the 6,000 or so audits that we perform every year, only 10% are eligible for this award. One of the things we've been doing recently is sometimes these get mailed. Normally these just show up in the mail, right? I've kind of been making it my role lately to present all awards, because the top 10% is still pretty good. Not to just put a stamp on it and mail it from our office. Basically what this means is that that the organization has policies and procedures and people in place to be able to qualify for this award. Yeah, there's a whole list of checkoffs. Did you get it in by a specific due date? And did you use the Hinkle system? And did you use GAAP accounting principles? And that all happened. Did you have a clean management letter? Are there no findings, no nothing? That all happened. And so it really represents the hard work of all of the TID's board members and everybody else who strives every day for accounting excellence. We'd really like to thank Cy for his hard work and commitment to fiscal integrity. So on behalf of State Auditor Keith Faber, I'd like to present the Delaware County Transportation Improvement District with the Auditor of State Award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't all rush to the podium to get the award.
Go ahead, Cy. Thank you.
Please pass along our appreciation to Auditor Faber and thank him for his good work and support.
I will do that. I was talking to the commissioner. He was just up here for the jug, so he has a lot of fond stories about being
Hopefully
up
he
here.
contributed to our local economy.
Don't we all when we come to the county fair?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you. Sure appreciate it. Any other public comment? Nobody registered or, okay. Board member reports. Do any of the board members have anything they want to report?
I do not.
I do not have anything to report since our last meeting, other than Rob and I are physically located in new offices on State Route 521, and Rob suggested that we need to investigate whether we could possibly move these board meetings to the to a room there at some point if that's more convenient. It might be less convenient for some of our board members, so.
We probably would
won't-
not be able to stream the
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay, well then, and it also wouldn't be like, 10 steps away from your office.
That's not so much an
I'm
issue.
sorry.
It's the streaming.
I'm just teasing. So, but if you have occasion to frequent our office in person, we do have a new location and didn't want you to show up at Channing Street and see a boarded up building, so.
That would be a problem.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem. So, I'll put in a plug for where we're at now, physically, and at 521, thank you to the commissioners for making that facility available to us. It's really a great balance between really functional space and nice but not too nice, of just what a public building ought to be, in my opinion. And we're excited about sharing that location with some of our collaborative agencies, the Building Department, Regional Planning Commission, Sanitary Engineer, Soil and Water District, OSU Extension, all located in the same building. And that's good for us in terms of collaborating with all of those departments. And it's good for the public that comes to our office for to do business. We're not sending them across town to a different building to talk to someone else. And so, great solution. Again, thank you, Jeff and Tracy, and for your staff and all their work in making that happen. Item 4 is our Secretary Treasurer's report.
Our current cash balance is $3,212,249.17.
Are there any questions for Cy?
Nope.
I'd entertain a motion to accept the Treasurer's report.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. I recognize Chief Deputy Engineer Rob Riley for the staff report.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I'll run through the staff report. Feel free to stop me and interject as needed. As Mr. Brosman mentioned, we're very happy to be in the new Bixby campus. I really, as Chris said, I think that's going to be a really nice location for all of us, for multiple departments. I want to talk just very briefly about the ODOT 23 Connect project. You may recall that a couple of years ago, ODOT worked on really looking at the overall Route 23 corridor from I-270 up to Waldo, trying to identify some potential solutions for the congestion, safety issues, and travel time delays that folks experience when going through that section of highway. ODOT never, they wrapped up a preliminary study some time ago, basically concluding that some of the alternatives that would include rerouting 23 on a brand new alignment were not feasible for a number of reasons, but basically rolled into what is now the next phase of that study, which is to look at some different alternatives for upgrading the current corridor. And so ODOT will be, has done some work on that, and they will be consulting with local stakeholders later this month, and then opening up the process to the public for public input in November. They have public meetings scheduled for November 15th and 16th, where they'll be laying out some of the conceptual alternatives that they have identified. So more to come on that. Please keep your eye out for that. They have, I provided the link to the project page on publicinput.com. They will certainly have some more exhibits available so you can see kind of what's being proposed. Go into our project updates. The Silicon Heartland regional projects, you may recall from previous discussions, we were very fortunate to receive some help from the state for 3 projects on County Line Road. These are directly related to the Intel project. The state was good enough to award the TID $13 million of state revenue, or state general revenue fund grants for these 3 projects. I'll talk more about 2 of those in detail coming up, but these will really provide some relief and particularly some safety improvements for the shift in commuting, which we expect to happen from Delaware towards Intel as that project moves along. So the good news for us at the local level and project development standpoint is that the general revenue funds don't come with a lot of red tape, so to speak. They are don't necessarily come with the same requirements as federal dollars, and so we will be able to process these projects and deliver them more quickly than we would kind of the federal route. So that's very good news, because we have really a couple of years to get these done before Intel is up and running. So I'll talk more about the 2 in particular with the first resolution, or excuse me, second resolution when we get there. Skip ahead to the Home Road and Sawmill Parkway improvements. Excuse me, I bypassed the 36 interchange project, and I don't think I had a heading on that, but update on that, MS Consultants has finalized the right-of-way plans for that project. There will be an agreement between Delaware County and ODOT, which we're currently working on finalizing. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to get that in front of the county commissioners. So that will be a partnership project between Delaware County and ODOT to begin acquiring the property that's needed for Phase A of that interchange. So everything is lining up as we speak to hopefully break ground in 2025 on that project. There'll be probably about a year's worth of property acquisition, so that will run through the end of 2024. But then we sure hope that we're able to break ground in 25 and get that Phase A advanced. Moving on to Home and Sawmill Parkway, there is a resolution for that project as well. The project is complete. We have received and I believe SI may have paid or will be paying shortly the final invoice for that. That project did actually come in under budget, so very good news there. And we'll be returning the unused deposit back to Delaware County for that project. Bale Canyon Road improvements, you'll recall that we provided a $500,000 grant towards Phase 1. That project is under construction now, roughly 50 to 60% complete as of today. That project will be largely wrapped up before the snow flies, hopefully, but we'll have to come back in the spring to get everything wrapped up. But that'll be a nice improvement for that section of Bale Canyon Road, because it was physically in pretty bad shape. There were some edge failures on the road. The integrity of the roadway itself was starting to come into question. So that'll be a nice safety and traffic flow upgrade. So on that same note, Orange Township, again, the county engineer and Orange Township have been working together to try to break up that project into manageable kind of bite-sized pieces that can be done. The next phase, Phase 2, is essentially the southernmost section of Bale Canyon Road. Starts at Power Road, goes north roughly half a mile. That would include the same type of work, widening it to modern 2-lane section, as well as a path on one side. Unfortunately, that project, like so many others, has been really impacted by cost escalation and inflation over the last several years. And so the estimates we had several years ago are unfortunately out of date, and the cost has increased. So wanted to put out for your consideration, I think we need to move around, the lights stay on. So wanted to put out for your consideration and discussion the proposal of assisting Orange Township with a grant towards Phase 2 in the amount of $750,000. I can tell you that Orange Township is submitting an OPWC funding application this fall for next fiscal year, July 1st. So that would help close the gap on Phase 2 in discussions with Orange Township. Frankly, they're scrounging up any dollars they can to get through Phase 2. There'll be a whole nother discussion on Phase 3, but wanted to put that in front of you. You heard Treasurer Keeley remark we have about $3 million currently. Some of that will be paid out over the next month or so, but that would still leave us with about a $2 million general fund balance. Is that correct, Si?
Yes.
So as we've discussed in the past, I think our goal is to help try to support some of these local projects with our partners and make use of that fund we have accumulated money in. So with that, I'll stop talking and turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Rob. I had a couple of, a question, and then I want to talk more about this Bale Kenyon issue. We have an item for that later on the agenda in item 8. So, but you mentioned the 3 projects ODOT's awarded us funding for. We have an agreement for 2. Can you talk about that other project just so you can fill the gap in there?
I certainly can. So the 3 projects, 2 of those are local road intersections at county roads. The third is at State Route 37. The General Revenue Fund grant was assigned to the TIDs initially by ODOT, and so what the state or what ODOT is asking is that we go ahead and accept that grant. The expectation is I will bring you back an agreement probably in November to, and again, in discussions with ODOT, ODOT is willing to advance and deliver that State Route 37 project as a state project. So it's a bit of an exercise in payments. Basically, the money would come from the state to the TID, then the TID would contract separately with District 6 to basically deliver that project, do the engineering, land acquisition, and construction of that project. So a little bit of an accounting exercise there, but it's that's kind of the way the funds have been set up for now. So
Can you talk about the accounting piece of it, the cash flow piece and how that works?
yeah, so ODOT has said, so basically these agreements are set up on a reimbursement basis. They're very similar to the TID grant that ODOT administers and we've made use of over the years. This will be essentially the same way, reimbursement based, but ODOT has also said they are willing to work with all the TIDs to address any cash flow issues. So we can invoice up to monthly as needed.
Okay.
ODOT would simply ask for the deposit necessary to cover the next so many months of expenditures or whatever the current fiscal year projection is. So we would expect to work through that with them. Again, we've got somewhat of a cash cushion here at the TID, so I don't anticipate that being too much of a problem.
Okay, great.
And if I understand it right, with the award being made to us, but one of the projects being on a state route, I think both the state and our office agrees it's better for them to administer that project. So which why we're doing the gymnastics to essentially contract with one of ODOT's districts to perform the work on behalf of our TID. So.
And the other element, it's actually two ODOT districts, Licking County is in District 5,
Yes.
and so frankly, ODOT's just in a better position to coordinate all of that rather than us trying to deal with 2 separate districts.
Yeah, that roundabout straddles the district, ODOT district line, doesn't it? So.
Is there any discussion about who's going to administer the construction contract in this?
So for the 2 local road intersections, the
That'd be
Fancher
us.
Road and the Center Village Road, those would be administered by the county engineer's
Okay.
office.
What about 37?
37 would be administered by ODOT.
So they're gonna take care of the construction phase of that project?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, they'll really take care of all of the engineering
just-
and land acquisition. The other two would be administered
Okay,
by the county
right.
engineer's office. And again, on that, I would also expect, the agreement I have for you today, for Resolution 2023-03, would simply accept the funds and then basically say the TID will advance these projects. I would expect to bring you another agreement for those two intersections where the county engineer will administer the project, as we've done on basically all of our other projects in the same manner.
And we'll have an agreement for the 37 project
We will.
also.
Yes, there'll actually be two agreements next meeting.
Any other questions for Rob?
I had a couple questions on Bell Canyon, but it can wait till we get to that.
Okay. I just wanted to add, Rob briefed us on the progress of the 3671 project and the design there, and we talked at our last meeting about us moving forward with investigating a negotiation on picking up the design in phases B and C. So that portion of the interchange project that connect to the west back to Route 36 near Africa Road. And so we don't have anything to report on that, but we hope we'll be able to do that to some degree at our next meeting. So that's still on our work list at our office. So there's nothing else for Rob. Thank you for your good work and your thorough report. Item 6 on our agenda is the approval of the final completion of the certificate of the Home Road and Sawmill Road improvements that Rob mentioned, and I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I may have flip-flopped the numbers on the resolutions. Looks like I have 2023-03 as the completion certificate, so
Okay.
it's up to you if you want to.
So we'll, so the agenda has that listed as 02, but
Correct.
it's written as 03. So since we're already on that, I'll accept a resolution or a motion on resolution 2023-02, 03, the Home Road Sawmill Improvement Project.
So move.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Now, item 7, which is 2023-02. This will be the approval of the project agreements with ODOT for South County Line Road at Fancher and Center Village, as Rob spelled out for us in his report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So I moved.
Second?
Second, Tracy. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. So item 8 is not an action item, but a discussion item for the topic that Rob teed up for us for Orange Road and Bell Canyon for Phase 2. And the suggestion was a grant of $750,000 for toward the completion of that phase of the project. This is a good example of the direct impacts of growth on our road system in a rapidly growing part of our county. The 5,000 cars a day on a road that's in some areas 16 feet wide and carved into kind of the hillside that steep drop-offs and not at all intended for the kind of traffic that's being put at it. And the township finds himself with a really hefty price tag. It's a very expensive project. And so I think that's the kind of thing that our TID is positioned to do to help those kind of projects. And I think there'll be other projects like this that come before us routinely where townships and local governments can't meet the price tag of big transportation improvements that they're saddled with, so. I think it's important that we try to help our transportation partners on these kind of things as we're able.
Am I recalling phase two correctly, that that's the section from Powell Road up to Orange Road?
Phase two would be from Powell Road about half mile north, so.
Half a
we'd
mile
go,
north, okay.
I think it's Nicoya Court or.
Yeah.
Woods of Bell Canyon is
One
the
of those
narrow-
roads.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Then, if you haven't driven that section, you should to see how that sort of project has that much of a big of a price tag. But it's really steep terrain, blind intersections, a lot of vertical sight distance limitations, and it's just a growing safety problem, and very, very difficult project, very expensive project, obviously. This is probably a good time to also mention, and just put an exclamation mark behind a point that Rob brought up about escalating construction costs. Slide we saw from ODOT earlier this year showed, was a 20% increase in the last 2 years in construction prices for roadway items. So Rob and I have lamented that what we gained 6 years ago with a gas tax increase has really been totally consumed by an inflationary cost of construction items. So this is it's a growing problem and something we're going to have to continue to try to fight our way through. So, and not to get off the Bell Canyon, but it's a good example of how escalating costs leave a local government without the ability to finish an important project. So, is there any objection to?
I just have a couple questions.
Yeah,
Well, you answered my one. My one was about traffic counts. I saw it in the report, but I wanted to
yeah.
hear about those. I
It's a
know
big
that they're
number
pretty
for a little
significant
road.
for a township roadway.
Yeah.
The other thing is, in the previous grant, we did $500,000. I just wondered how we came to the $750,000. Is that in looking at what they're going to be applying to for OPWC?
Yeah, so and certainly open to any discussion on the amount. I think frankly, what I've heard from Orange Township is, even with phase one, they still had a pretty large out-of-pocket expense. What they had saved up for phase one, or the entire project, was consumed in a big way with phase one. So I don't know that I put the estimated cost in for phase two. Just going off my memory, it was somewhere in the ballpark of 2.5.
I think you've got 2.9.
Yeah.
A little
so-
under 3.
Yeah, thank you. So, still a big number. I think,
Do we know what happens if they're not successful with their application to OPWC?
the project probably gets delayed.
Okay.
Chris, I'll let you speak to this,
I-
but generally speaking, I think, projects that, address safety, capacity, score very, very well for OPWC, just because there are a lot of applications by our 5 other county partners in District 17 that, someone jump up and down, it'll be okay. Are really just preservation type projects, resurfacing, that are good and worthwhile, but they don't have necessarily the same impact as something like this. So I would anticipate this project scoring well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm supportive.
Thank you. Anyone else?
That's fine.
Hearing no objection, let's proceed to work on a project agreement with Orange, and I'll be able to keep you posted on their status as for their OPWC application. As I sit on that OPWC committee and chair the committee that reviews the application, so I won't give you any inside information, but you'll know when I know, okay? That's the last Agenda item to speak of, is there other business that we need to bring before the board this morning? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second. No objection, I'll declare us adjourned, and thank you all for being here.